Welcome back. Management of the V&A Waterfront can breathe a sigh of relief after stinky dead fish were removed from the waters just in time for the long weekend. Earlier this week, thousands of dead floating fish led to hotel guests and visitors taking to social media to complain about the stench. Now, for more on this, I'm joined by the head of public relations at the V&A Waterfront, Donald Gau. A very good afternoon to you, Donald, and thank you so much for your time. So how did this happen? How did we get so much dead floating fish by the V&A Waterfront? Donald, I'm sorry, we're getting you on mute, but hopefully we'll be getting you back. That is, of course, Donald Gau of the V&A Waterfront. Of course, he was sitting on mute at the moment. Donald, I don't know if you can hear me, but have you got yourself off mute?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. Yes, we can. So I was just asking, Donald, I mean, how did this happen that we've got so much dead fish floating by the V&A Waterfront?
So every year we have a mullet fish breeding in the basin. These are the small silver fishes that a lot of the people would have seen walking through the V&A. And this year the number was quite high. Subsequent to that, we also saw a large number of mackerel. These are predator fish that follow the mullets into the harbor. And the high volume of fish activity obviously led to the levels of oxygen in the water dropping quite significantly. And that's what caused the level of the fish to die. The dead fish themselves are a great source of food for Cape fur seals, seagulls. We even had whales and dolphins coming into the harbor. So in effect, what you then have is a system overload. If you think about the harbor being like a giant fishbowl, if you have a high volume of fish coming in there, you obviously lose the levels of oxygen that's required for them to live in the water. And that led to a massive die-off of fish.
What did it take to do this cleanup? Because I can imagine it was quite a job, especially because it had a number of people visiting the V&A Waterfront complaining about the stench. What did it take?
So it's been, I mean, the occurrence itself kicked off about a week and a half ago. And we have a marine wildlife management team that's on the water. We have a number of boats that are dedicated to maintaining cleanliness within the harbor. So we've increased the number of people that are doing the work themselves physically along our waterways, as well as the most important thing was that we could pump clean water through our canals into the actual harbor itself, because that then brings back a number of opportunities to clean the system, as well as to reintroduce oxygen back into the waterways. So we've been very busy. I spent the whole day out yesterday just checking with the guys. The smell seems to have kind of decreased to a great extent. It's worth, though, remembering that we are a commercial fishing harbor. We've got I&J and Premier Fishing located there. So there is always a whiff of sort of fish smell within a harbor environment like ours.
What has the conversation been with people visiting the V&A Waterfront? I mean, I know that there's been a guest or a number of guests that have left because of this stench. What has the V&A Waterfront been telling guests and visitors?
We've communicated exactly what I've been sharing with you. I think it was an unusual sight. I mean, if you've seen some of the images that have come through, to have that many fish floating on the water, we haven't really had that degree of activity. And this is an annual occurrence, by the way, where we have these fish breeding within our waterways. So it's not unusual in that sense. It was just a matter of the high volume and, of course, the stench that accompanies it. We did get the complaints, but I think the best thing is to actually give people a sense of what exactly is happening there. It is a natural occurrence. It's slightly unusual in the volume of fish that's there, but it hasn't stopped people coming into the V&A this weekend. It's as busy as normal over Easter period. But the important thing is just to give people information about what exactly is happening and how the harbor environment works.
And just before I let you go, can we expect this to happen again? I mean, I know you're saying that it is an unusually high volume this time around, when it is something that happens every year, but this time it just happened in a way that nobody is used to. So are you guys anticipating that this might happen again?
We have the Two Oceans Aquarium, which is located within the V&A environment, and they monitor fish activity and the levels of oxygen in the water. They'll be looking at this and trying to figure out what exactly was the cause. I couldn't tell you exactly whether we know what exactly is the nature of what's happened this time around. That's different. One thought is that because we've had so much less activity because of the lockdown of movement of boats That's meant the fish were kind of quietly going about their business in huge volumes that have then resulted. So that might be just one of the things that we'll see, but we don't think that it will be something that worrying us at this point in time.
You're saying that, I just want to now look at what the Easter long weekend and people just coming in for their usual visits over this time. You're saying that there are people that have not been deterred by the smell, not been deterred by the high volume of fish that have floated there. How are things looking at the V&A Waterfront for the Easter long weekend? I mean, obviously, I would imagine all protocol is being observed as it should, but in terms of volumes of people coming in, how's it looking?
It's been an interesting time. I mean, from sort of December coming into Easter, volumes have increased slightly. I think we're expecting around 50,000 people walking through the V&A at this time around, which is slightly higher than what we see during the week. There are a lot more people. Kids are obviously out with their parents. We've got some Easter activities planned for them, Easter egg hunts, and all sorts of other activities that are there for kids to enjoy. And so you'll have lots of parents coming into the environment just to spend the day and enjoy themselves. So we're expecting that we'll see over the long weekend heightened activities. The retail environment, it remains very tough for us. As you can imagine, we've got close to 400 retailers in that environment. It's been a tough time working through this COVID period, but we've been giving a lot of support to those businesses to ensure that they are able to survive through and trade through to when tourists return.
All right. Donald, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, sir. That is Donald Gau, who is the Head of Public Relations at the V&A Waterfront.